So I got myself a new light thing. It's not like a ceiling light fixture or anything. It's more akin to fairy lights, but not quite fairy lights, if you know what I mean. And I just put it up at my ceiling, and now I'm tempted to go get another one because first I thought like 3 meters is a lot, and now looking at it, it's like half of what I need. Maybe even only a quarter, depending on how far I want to go. But now I can't wait for it to get dark so I can actually see what it's doing to my ceiling and to my room. I should probably show you. Like, there's a lot of shit on my ceiling. I have these fake ivy plants, and those feathers are like chicken feathers from a friend, little bits and bobs. I have somewhere over there is a goose feather. I think this one is the goose feather. No, that's another chicken feather. That's a goose feather. That right there, that's a goose feather. Some more chicken feathers. Somewhere over there, that one. Right there, that is actually a seagull feather from France. And there's a little playing card and keys. Like, I have a lot of shit on my ceiling. I'm striving for crowcore, so there's a lot of shit on my ceiling. I have some coins. So, yeah. And now I have these fairy light thingies going back and forth. And I just put them up. And now I want it to be dark so I can see if it's pretty or not. I mean, I have turned them on before. Like, just now when I undid it. And it looked okay. But I want to know how bright they are, because they seem to be very not bright. And I don't want them to be bright. I don't necessarily need them to be the light that I have on when I want to read in bed or anything. That's not the goal here. The goal is to make it somewhere on the intersection between whimsy and chaos. You know? Crowcore. At least what I like to call crowcore. I don't know if it's an actual aesthetic. It's just collecting shiny things. But yeah, I have goose feathers and chicken feathers on my ceiling. You're welcome. I turned them on now. They make somewhat of a difference already. But it's still, like, super bright in here. Because, like, daylight and shit. But, like, they're not that bright, right? Am I stupid? They are not that bright, right? But I think I need at least one more to either, like, continue from there all the way over there, or I get one without the baubles and just the small LEDs and weave them all in, like, in the places where these are not, like, in between, basically, to make it even more shinier, blinkier. I don't know. Alright. Let's test this out. Where's the button? There we go. Let's see how bright this actually is. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Like, it's not bright. I wasn't expecting it to be. But it's nice. I like it. Pretty sure I'm getting a second one. Yeah. I like it. That's good shit. I'm keeping this. Okay, so I've been reading One Foot in the Grave, in the Fade, not grave, One Foot in the Fade by Arnold, and I'm like 100 pages in. And I have a bunch of thoughts on it. It doesn't matter, because right now we are back at the villain's mansion. And he's very clearly the villain. Like, there's no secret that he is the bad guy in this one, and he knows he's the bad guy, and like, he doesn't even try to hide it. But the homoerotic energy between Fetch Phillips and this guy... I'm sorry, what? I'm convinced they are boyfriends and they just don't know it. Fetch Phillips just got hit by a car, right? He just got hit by a car. And then he goes to the... He gets hit by the car. They kidnap him. and then they deposit him in the backyard of the bad guy, right? And the bad guy is like just standing there, and it's like, let me just read this to you. He threw me a sword, I stepped away and let it hit the car, scratching the paintwork. Yale, henchman, swore and the suit grabbed my lapels. Drop him, ordered Niles, picking up a second sword. It was my fault. But Fetch, if you don't play along from here on out and give it your all, that will be the last time I hold the boys back. This wasn't my first invitation into Thurston's backyard to engage in a bit of sport, but every other time I'd been handed a pair of boxing gloves. So they have regular dates in the bad guy's backyard. It keeps going. What are we doing? I asked. Dueling, like men! I want to test the armor and myself against your skill. Is that why you had Yale hit me with your jalopy before she brought me here? You wanted to soften me up so you won't lose as badly as last time. She did? He feigned surprise. That must be related to your exhibition match outside the police station. Nothing to do with me. Now get up here. The other times we duked it out, I had more of a say in the matter. We knocked back a few drinks, and when the war of words became too heated, we'd come out here to put our grievances into our fists. Despite myself, I'd kind of enjoyed those matches. You can't tell me they are not boyfriends!
A few moments later.
I'm still on the same page. It just keeps going. I picked up the sword and climbed onto the platform. There's a good boy. Further down. Further down. I did not want to play this game. I didn't want to be here. But if I had to play, I'd be playing to win. Alright, Niles. It's the villain's first name. What are the rules? What do I gotta do to you before you'll let me go home? I know they are about to duel with like rapiers and shit, but this feels like a very different kind of sword crossing. It tastes like foreplay. Okay, so, promise an update. In my last update. Here it is. Let's go. I did, just like I promised, start One Foot in the Fate by Luke Arnold, and I'm almost 50, but I'm pretty sure I actually am 50% through already. Yeah. Yeah, I just crossed the 50% mark. This is a quicker read than book 1 and 2, and I think I know why. Because the vibes are very different than they were in book 1 and 2. In book 1 and 2 we follow Fetch Phillips, a little impulsive depresso boy who did some things and he wants to punish himself for the consequences of the things he did. So he's like getting into fights every other Tuesday and he's just a little depresso boy. Very angry, very guilt-ridden and stuff. And in this one, he actually cleaned up his act. Quite literally. He took a shower, first and foremost. Then he stopped drinking, so he is now sober, mostly. He thinks before he acts. Most of the time. Not always. And he's now a little ball of hope. He's a dreamer. Like, Digimon opening sequence kind of dreamer. It's very interesting how the vibes shifted with the character cleaning up his act. And I'm so here for it. As I've said, I'm pretty sure this man is in a homoerotic relationship with the big bad evil guy without knowing that he is in a homoerotic relationship with the big bad evil guy. But I will die on the hill that Fetch and Niles are a couple. They just don't know it. And now we shifted again because we left the city. This book does a weird thing at page 190. It's chapter 30. Chapter 30 is the last chapter that has only a number as the chapter title, right? And then chapter 31 suddenly has an actual title. And that coincides with Fetch and a couple of friends going on a road trip. And I saw, because I was confused by just 30 chapters of numbers, and then we suddenly get titles. And we get titles almost all the way up to the end. But then chapter 62 has another number and no name to it. And I think none of the chapters after that do. Yeah, no. So, I wonder, is this just Luke Arnold not knowing how to title all the other chapters? Or is this a stylistic choice? Because this is where certain things are happening? Is this like where we have the found family aspect? Because we suddenly have a found family aspect in here. I was not expecting that. But we are on this road trip with like 5 other people. And they all become friends. And like, I had them for 20 pages in this constellation. And I already love every single one of them. Suddenly I'm not mad that this doesn't finish out a series. Suddenly I'm not mad that there is going to be another book. Provided that all of these characters show back up again. If we can keep this constellation, if we can keep this group of people the way they are now, after only 22 pages, then I'm very here for it. For the next book. Ow. I just hit myself in the face with the fucking book! Very on brand, actually. So yeah, that's my update on One Foot in the Fate, if you were wondering. I literally, like, I ended the vlog, I didn't pick up the book until the next day, and now I'm halfway through! What is happening? Yay. Very romantic lighting right now, I know. I have a bunch of candles on in the probably futile attempt of heating up this stupid room. It is so cold. I'm about to bust out the winter blankets too, because I'm fucking freezing and I don't like it. It is the middle of September. Why is it so fucking cold? Anyway, rant over. Waiting for the fucking airplane to pass. I am pretty much exactly 100 pages from the end. 115 pages. I have 115 pages left in this book. The found family has been lost. We lost 2 people after a car crash and an ambush from a satyr. And now the werewolf ranger dude has been kidnapped, so we went down from 5 to 2. But the werewolf is kidnapped and brought to the city where we had to go anyways. The vibes are still there, it's just that the group that has been the found family has shrunken to 1 other person. It did hit the weird mid-book funk that all of the books in this series have. Every Fetch Phillips book has a very slow middle. This one had a speedier middle, but only because the characters were actively carrying the story, as opposed to the other 2 books, where it's like, in the other 2 books it's just Fetch doing things, and in this one it's finally like a group of people that can carry the story, and not just Fetch wallowing in self-pity. And I don't know, this story... The setting is that magic died, and we follow this world that is just now learning how to live without magic. And Fetch is all about bringing back magic. But every single thing that happens in this book is basically hitting him over the head with the fact that there is magic in the small things. That maybe magic didn't disappear, it just shifted. And now you have to find it in the things around you instead of finding a way to bring the magic back as it was before. I don't know if that makes sense, but there were a couple of scenes where he was just wandering, like just in utter awe at the world around him. Like they are going through this forest and he's like, huh, I do understand the birds now. As in, not speaking their language, but like knowing, okay, this is just them singing, this is them saying hello, this is them warning other creatures, like the way a forest works, right? And he's finding all these little things. And he himself said, like the werewolf dude, he's their guide, and later on he figures out that he is afraid of spider webs. He hates spiders, so he has a stick and he's like wishing it around as he walks in front of them. And in the beginning he didn't ask why the werewolf was doing the stick thing, but when he saw this werewolf dude pick up the stick and just wish it around, he was like, it's like some sort of magic in its own. And he never asked because he thought of it as, yeah, maybe this is the magic of this dude, maybe this is doing something for the dude, for the werewolf dude. And he's like, yeah, maybe this is like some defensive spell I just don't understand because I am not the werewolf dude. And there were a lot of those moments, like little magic moments. And I think that is the point of this book. I mean, sure, we are on our way from Sunder City to this weird place with wizards in it to steal their crown, to hopefully give the genie lady her powers back and stuff. But like, getting that crown feels less like the goal than finding these little moments of magic in a world without magic. You know? And also everyone is hitting Fetch with a hammer in the face. That maybe he should stop living in the moment and like actually think about what he's going to do next. So this feels like it's going somewhere. I just don't know where. But even though I'm only a little over 100 pages away from finishing this, it feels like I'm getting nowhere. You can't see me. Wait. I'm over here. It feels like I'm getting nowhere with my reads for the month. Like, I have finished 2 books, one of which was a comic. And it's not like I'm not reading. I am reading. I'm reading so much. I'm reading so much. But because I made this weird choice, and I hate my past self for that, to have all the big books of my TBR this month, it feels like I'm getting nowhere. I'm reading so much and nothing happens, you know? It has nothing to do with the books, it's me, I am the problem. I think I will, first of all, bust out the big blanket because I'm cold. But I think I'm going to pick up a manga to just get something done, you know? Finish something for once. Because all I've been doing for the past week is read One Foot in the Fate and Wrath of Empire and nothing. I'm still working on both of those. So I think I'm going to pick up a manga and leave it at that. Okay, cool. Bye. Behold, the thick blanket. It doesn't look thick because it's been all squished down, but trust me, this is down feathers in here. This shit is warm.